Have you been wanting to learn more about where the presidential contenders stand on the social issues you care about? Well, most of them will be gathering at a church in Iowa on November 19th. It's a forum entirely on those issues. This is the CitizenLink Report. I'm Stuart Shepard, along with CitizenLink Executive Director Tom Minnery. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Stuart.
And you are going to be front and center in Des Moines.
I'll be asking some questions of some presidential candidates, but you have to look quick if you're going to look for me, because I've only got a small slice of it. Our main moderator will be Frank Luntz. Those who watch Fox News will know of him very well. He is an exquisite asker of questions.
He's also, if you've seen the guy who does the dial sessions where they have the little lines going up and down on the screen while someone's speaking, he's that guy.
And there will be a dial session done that night at the event. However, it will be then produced into a special on Fox News to air after the event. So some of the audience at the church in Des Moines on the 19th will be plucked out and asked to go to a separate room, do the dials, and then come up on stage afterward, and Frank will subject them to his normal focus group style questioning. What did you hear? What did you like? What did you not like? And then, as I say, Fox News is going to present that.
Now, let's talk about the forum itself. Where is it? Who's going to be there? What will it feel like when you're there?
It will be a busy event. As you said, most of the presidential candidates will be present. We will hold this in First Federated Church in Des Moines on the 19th. That'll be late in the afternoon for most of the country. We'll give people plenty of warning about the details, time and place to tune in. The idea, however, is not to have these 30-second, give me your national security response in 20 seconds and that kind of thing. We want the candidates to really expound on their beliefs and to talk to one another, more at one another. I don't know if we'll achieve that. Nothing like this has been done or done successfully as I think back, but Frank Luntz believes and is excited about the chance to get below the sound bites on questions that get to the moral underpinnings on some of the topics that are in the news today. Some of the questions will be very upfront, Christian-oriented from our viewpoint. Some will be subtle, your underlying views that deal with war, things like that, designed to tease out moral beliefs, get at the worldviews from which these candidates are coming from.
Yeah, now the picture we all have in our minds when we think presidential debate, and this is a forum, and there's a reason they use a different word. We always picture, I think you call them the Starship Enterprise podiums. Is that the phrasing you use?
Yeah.
That will not be the look for this. They're literally going to be sitting around a table on the stage.
Yes, the hardest thing I'm going to do is to remember not to dress up in a tie, because we want to make it befitting the weekend before Christmas. We want the candidates to be relaxed, and not that they will really be relaxed, I suspect, but sitting in a more casual atmosphere, dressed more casually, as one would around a Thanksgiving dinner table. And we want them to try to talk more rather than recite sound bites. Now, these are very, very articulate people, so that will be the opportunity to draw them out more.
Now, I don't think I've specified, but the reason you're going to be one of the folks who gets to ask questions is CitizenLink is co-sponsoring this event.
Right. This is all about Iowa, and we have a strong Family Policy Council connection with an organization that we help nurture into existence. The policy part of that is called Family Leader, and it's headed by a very adept individual named Bob Vanderplots. And so this will be the attraction here for the candidates in Iowa, obviously, is these people in the audience, and we will have several thousand people in the audience at First Federated Church. But the idea is this is getting close to the Iowa caucuses, and Iowa caucus goers are, by and large, social conservatives, and many of them evangelicals. This is an audience that you do not want to miss at a time when you do not want to miss being in Des Moines. And so we are co-sponsoring with the Family Leader and with the National Organization for Marriage, an organization that has helped us fight the battle to preserve the definition of marriage around the country. So the three of us will be together.
And we do want to say thank you to those of you who donate to the work we do. It's not just, the media kind of things we do. We also get involved out in the real world, as it were, and this is an example of the kind of work we do.
It's not expensive. It's not inexpensive to produce something like this at the level that we're having to produce it to accommodate hordes of national press, and the national press coverage will be heavy. NBC has requested 8 press credentials and wants to have a satellite truck. So I'm not sure what their plans are, but they'll do heavier coverage. But we expect a full retinue of the presidential campaign press.
All right. Now, one notable name that's missing from this is Mitt Romney. What's that all about?
I believe Mitt Romney is having some difficulty with evangelical Christians. This is totally my conjecture. I don't know anything specific about or official about this, but at the Values Voter event in Washington, D.C. in September, a pastor hit upon his Mormonism, called it a cult, and suggested that such a person should not be president. Well, that's kind of rough language, and I can see how Governor Romney would be a little bit hesitant to come back into an evangelical atmosphere like this. We will make the event very respectful. We're not getting into theology as such because we are not going to solve theological questions in the short time we have. We want to get at the underlying ways in which a fervent, vibrant belief in God impacts decision-making upon a president. That's what we'll get at. And so if anyone in the Romney camp is listening to this, your candidate will be very well respected at this event.
He's welcome, invited, and we'd like to see him there.
We certainly would.
I'd like to hear his point of view. I also have to ask, one of the people who will be there has been in the headlines a lot over the past week and a half, and that is businessman Herman Cain. Are you going to hit him with tough questions about what's been in the headlines?
Well, that itself is a tough question, but I'm glad you asked it because actually, no. Every person in every press outlet that I'm aware of wants to get to Herman Cain on these questions about sexual harassment from years ago, and they're having ample opportunity to do that. There are issues that we want to know that don't happen to deal with that, and we're not going to take up our time dealing with that issue because, as I say, everybody else is doing that. That's the one thing about Herman Cain that's in the press daily now.
Yeah. Now, we realize that most people are not going to drive up to Iowa. There are only so many seats in there, so most of us will watch this from elsewhere. How may people pick this up?
Many, many ways. C-SPAN will be our TV partner. CitizenLink will be carrying it live as a webcast, so you can watch it as it happens on CitizenLink.com. We're pleased to make that happen. That'll be fun. Also, radio stations, most of them Christian radio stations around the country, many of them will be linking to an audio feed, so they will be carrying it live, and our official partner is Bot Radio Network, which has 89 stations, mostly throughout the Midwest. They'll be carrying it and offering that audio feed to other radio stations. We will be also beaming a feed back here to our own satellite focus, and that'll go up for others who want the audio feed and the video feed. So we're going to be doing a lot ourselves to get this out. It is a new world. There was a time, as you know, when we had to depend on the 3 broadcast networks, and then there was a 4th broadcast network.
Yep.
But no longer. People who want knowledge about these kinds of issues can find their way to outlets that will cover them, and we will cover it in depth all the way through.
I do want to mention, if you watch it on CitizenLink.com, C-SPAN will have 2 cameras there and give you 2 angles of it. We're going to be connected with 4 cameras that will be at the event, so you get a much broader view of what's happening. And we'll also include some social media connections with it, so you can converse with other CitizenLink followers about what you're seeing, what you think about it, and how things are going. So that'll make it a little more interactive than you might get just vegging on the couch.
Right.
All right. Tom, anything else you want to share before I let you go?
Well, I suspect there are a lot of people who are watching us who are fans of Herman Cain, and we're all troubled by the revelations that have been coming out. We have no idea whether they're true or not. Last week there were many allegations surfacing, not many, I mean many reports of an allegation surfacing, yet Herman Cain was strong in the polls. It's amazing how that man has caught the imagination of so many voters. He's bold, he's upbeat, He has business experience that's very solid, and we'll all be watching what he does now and what happens. And it would be a deflation of a lot of enthusiasm were he to be lowered in the polls because he's not able to respond to these allegations very well. So we don't know what to think. We just realize it's a very much of a campaign in crisis, it seems, and we'll be wishing him the best, and the truth will come out, and we hope it's a truth that will not hurt his campaign.
Well, one of the fascinating things about it, as you just said, I mean, we're hearing some things about what may or may not have happened. He's saying nothing happened. We have at least one accuser who's actually finally, after a week and a half, put a fact into the story. For a week there were no facts at the heart of this. There were just these hints at the things that may or may not have gone on. And the point is, we don't know. I mean, we weren't there. What's fascinating to me is the American people appear to have a certain cynicism about the way the mainstream media goes after these stories. Because, as you mentioned, we saw negative stories going out for days and days. Rasmussen Reports did a poll right in about 3 days into that. His poll numbers were up. The giving to his campaign went up last week in the midst of all this. That's a fascinating perspective on the American people, that we've just seen enough of this from the mainstream media.
Well, we have, and as I said, that underlies the extent to which there is some real hunger for candidates such as Herman Cain to prevail, and so we'll have to see what happens. Don't know.
And we'll see how it plays out. Hey, we appreciate your comments and suggestions. Many of you have written to thank us for the way that we've been sharing with you what we can find out about the various candidates. And again, November 19th, you want to mark your calendar, come to CitizenLink.com, and we'll have the feed starting up a little before the time that it begins. All that information will be on the page for that Saturday. It depends on which time zone you're in, but we'll be sending out more through our email and also posting it on our website prominently so you know when and where to show up. So keep an eye on CitizenLink.com over the next week or so to figure out exactly when you're going to connect and how you'll do that. And also remember to pray for all of those who are running for office. Pray for wisdom and clarity and for insight for them. And remember, stand tall and be heard.